won't leave here alive.
I'm getting out of here. Hey, watch what you're doing.
Want to have your clip featured in the Skyrim Clip of the Week? Simply record the clip on your Xbox and then send it to me via message. My gamertag is IRYENI, that's IRYENI, and then you can message it to me over Xbox and I'll be able to view it. I look forward to seeing the clips that you guys send me. Now moving on to the video. Hey, what's up guys, it's Ryan, and welcome back to another episode of Modded Monday. We're on week number 260 now, guys. I've picked out 5 new mods for you guys to check out, and perhaps add them to your load order if you find them interesting. But like always, before we jump into them, I want to remind you guys that I'm partnered with GamerSupps, which in my opinion is the best energy drink on the market. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, be sure to check out the link in the description where you can go to their store page, and you can also use the code RTD for a 10% discount on all your purchases. I also want to say, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any brand new mods each and every single week. Now that all that's out of the way, we can jump into this week's mods. And starting us off, we have a very simple mod that was recommended last week from one of you guys because we've been covering Argonian mods, and I asked you guys in the comment section about your favorite Argonian mods, and this was a very small snippet that we got in the comment section called Beastly Beastmen. The mod page reads that this is a mod meant to improve the Argonians and Khajiits so that they no longer look like people in costumes and look more like actual beast hybrids. It's guaranteed to boost your immersion 101%, and that's actually something I've never really thought about, because if you do think about it, yeah, all of the Argonians and Khajiits of the game are shaped and have like a human skeleton, and you know, it really does look like they're in costumes, or it looks like they're just a human with a tail that's just colored a different color, you know? And this got me thinking back to like the Morrowind days where you'd see an Argonian and you'd know immediately that that's an Argonian just because of the way they walked, how they talked, just how they originally looked. You could just tell it was a beast race. But in Skyrim, it's kind of hard to tell. Obviously, you know, you have the tail and the scales that really make it known that it's a beast race, but that's really it. Their walking style is the same as humans. The way that, you know, everything else is done throughout them is all human-like. But this mod completely changes that. The features of this mod include changes to the races that are now a bit more dimorphic, meaning that the males look slightly more hunched over and are a bit bigger than females. Both males and females now have different body types and walk on their toes. Both males and females have had several of their body parts, including spine, neck, shoulders, and arms, adjusted to fit a more hybrid body plan. And that's the gist of this mod, and basically such a small addition that really does boost your immersion because it actually makes the beasts in Skyrim look like actual beasts. My only complaint with this mod is that the Argonians and the Khajiits have the exact same change, so it's like if you have one that's hunched over for a male and it's an Argonian, they're the same way hunched over for Khajiits, so it's kind of like the same changes have been made to 2 different races instead of 2 separate changes, you know, on their own. So I will say that this mod works a lot better on Argonians than it does for Khajiits. All in all, this is just a very simple mod that you can download and install at any time, and it's very compatible with other mods. I was able to use my NPC overhaul that changes all of the Argonians and Khajiits on top of this, so you won't just have to use this on its own, and it's just more of an immersion booster. So if you're interested in adding some more immersion into the Beastmen in Skyrim, then Beastly Beastmen is definitely a mod I'd recommend checking out. Coming in at the number 4 spot, we have a mod that completely changes nearly every single plant in Skyrim to have brand new, unique, and remastered textures. This is the Realistic Plants Overhaul Revitalized. And the mod page reads that this bundle replaces the textures, and in many great cases the meshes too, of nearly every plant in Skyrim. All alchemy flora and many ingredients, static flora like shrubs and ferns, DLC plants, etc. This overhaul does add a variety of new plants as well. We have Mari's tundra berries, Renthal's nettle, new water plants and lily pads that you can see inside of ponds and lakes, and even a brand new previously unreleased mod that was used to replace the 2 yellow shrub variants. All in all, this is an expansive and comprehensive overhaul of all of Skyrim's flora, not including grass or trees, so it's very interchangeable with other types of grass mods and other flora mods that you're using. And for me personally, I don't really use too many tree overhauls. I normally keep them vanilla because there's so many trees in Skyrim and those mods are always, super massive, and I just really like to keep my load order kind of light. We're always still running that 150 RPG load order that I made a couple months ago, and it's still running completely smooth. I haven't changed it too much. And inside of that load order, we use the Kind's Grass mod, which is pretty much the grass mod that I've been using for as long as I can remember now. It's a beautiful grass mod that changes so many different areas and has so many different types of grasses, but this is very compatible with any other grass mod that you may have. The mod creator suggests the Realistic Grasses overhaul is also good to use with this, which uses Tamrielic grass with Cathedral 3D pine grass and Origins of Forests, as well as 3D forest grass, patched together with it and edited by them to blend better with others across the board. But just because I normally don't use a tree overhaul doesn't mean you won't or you shouldn't, and if you are looking for a new tree overhaul to use alongside with this mod, the mod creator suggests the Overhaul Carpathian Forest or the Skyfall Tree mashup. He says that they go great together with this overhaul as their variety matches up very well in producing an incredibly diverse environment. And it's also important to note that the best place for this in your load order is in your multi-area edit section rather than your flora or general meshes and textures section, and this is because the many cell edits due to the trio of mods with, the Cathedral 3D Mountain Flowers, Mari's Tundra Berries, and Beware the Swamp Poison Blossoms. But just because there's a certain place for it in your load order and there's many cell edits doesn't mean it's going to conflict with any of your mods, because I had no problems running this on my load order at all. And I really like the looks of these new textures. It really brings a new light into the plants of Skyrim and makes it look a lot better whenever you're going around and exploring. So if you have a big grass mod enabled and you just walk by one of the vanilla flowers and it just kind of doesn't look right because, you have so many mods on top of each other, but you don't have anything that covers any of the plants. This mod is a perfect thing to add alongside it if you have the memory space, and it's coming in at 178 megabytes, which seems rather large, but it touches so much because there's so many plants in Skyrim. Think about everywhere that you explore, you're always seeing plants and flora and flowers and everything. This mod completely changes all of them to have brand new remastered textures, and I absolutely love it. So if you're looking for a mod that's going to cover the textures of plants in Skyrim and you don't want to scour the mod page for a bunch of different mods that's going to change each and every plant, you just want it all in one simple mod, then the Realistic Plants Overhaul Revitalized is definitely a mod I'd recommend checking out. So go download it and experience these brand new plant textures for yourself. Coming in at the number 3 spot this week, we have an all-in-one bundle of a bunch of different badass looking unique armor and weapons that you can find in Skyrim. This is Fourth Unknown's Armory all-in-one. And the mod page reads that this is an all-in-one merge of all of Fourth Unknown's unique armor and weapons. This mod includes the Northern God armor, the Falconer armor, the Wind Ruler armor, which we actually covered in a previous mod episode. I really love that armor set. The Dust Adept armor, as well as the weapon mod, the Daedric Crescent, which we also covered in a previous episode. Now, Fourth Unknown always goes above and beyond whenever they create these armor sets, and like I said, I was a really big fan of the Wind Ruler armor, but all of these armors and weapons that they've added all in this one bundle are absolutely phenomenal. They look like they fit into Skyrim, but they have clearly remastered textures, and it just looks amazing to have on your character, and it's definitely something that you're going to want to get just because of how awesome they look. And it's not like these armors are just given to you. You actually have to find them throughout the world, or you have to complete certain quests in order to get them. I know for the Wind Ruler armor, you have to go to Froki's shack and complete a bunch of different, side quests with him and defeat a bunch of different bosses. And each boss that you defeat gives you a unique armor set until you finally complete it all, and then you'll finally have the full set. For the Daedric Crescent, you'll have to go to Mehrunes Dagon's shrine. And once inside, you can find the crescent just waiting to be picked up and used against your enemies. And the other armor sets, some you'll have to travel to, the different shrines of Talos scattered throughout the map and pick up each armor set as you travel to those. One's found in Solitude inside of the upper castle area. And you'll even have to make a trip out to Solstheim to Tel Mithrin, where you can find the final armor set just stranded on a boat waiting to be picked up. So these armor sets aren't necessarily hard to obtain, but they definitely make you work and go out of your way to obtain them, and that's good because these armors are very, very powerful and they look incredibly badass as well, and I absolutely love them. So if you're looking to completely transform your armory in Skyrim and you don't know where to start looking, and you're looking for something with high quality textures with tons of detail, and it actually fits the lore and the actual look of Skyrim and doesn't look too out of place, then the Fourth Unknown's Armory all-in-one is definitely a mod I'd recommend checking out. So go download it and experience some of these new badass armors for yourself. Coming in at the number 2 spot, we have a mod that's actually pretty old, but I recently caught wind of it, and it's an entirely new DLC-sized area to explore outside of Skyrim. This is the Moonfang Island mod. And the mod page reads that this is the mod creator's hub mod for all of their mods that they're going to be making in the future, and this is going to be the hub in a little world space called Moonfang Island where all their mods will be located. You don't actually need any other mods on top of this. It's just a huge area that you can explore and fight enemies and bosses, and it's just brilliant. This world can be found and entered within the Whiterun Plains in an old Imperial fort, and all you have to do is solve a ring of keys like a puzzle to enter, but that's really it. This world is fully navmesh and has several references and areas to explore. There's a small town in the mountains where one can craft upgrades found in the mod. This mod also adds assets on its own for the player to find and craft. There's several Easter eggs from Zelda to Pokemon within the island, and the island also contains 2 player homes. The main one being in Lunasol, but there's also a portal gem connecting the homes to Skyrim itself. Now this is an absolutely massive mod, coming in at 659.61 megabytes, but it's clear to see why. This is a huge and massive island that you can explore to your heart's content, and there's several flat areas which may look barren, but if you have used a mod that we've actually used in the past called Anna's Unique Spells, you can actually build your own houses and cities too. I know that we should normally be talking about the mod itself, but whenever another mod fits in here perfectly and allows you to do so much more within another mod, I feel it's worth mentioning in one of these videos. Because Anna's Unique Spells allows you to build your own houses in Skyrim, and in turn you could create a huge city because there's a lot of flat land in this world, or you can just add a player home of your own. You could definitely make this your little home away from Skyrim, and if you are using another mod that we've covered in the past, such as the Build, Interact, and Decorate mod, you could build your own custom house, custom city, you name it. There's so much to explore and actually do within this Moonfang Island, and like I said, this is just a hub for the mod creator to add all of their mods into one place onto this separate island from Skyrim, so if you're looking for even more content to add to this island, I'd strongly recommend checking out the mod creator's page and downloading even more content, whether it's more people to fight, new areas to explore, new homes to have within the world. There's so much to see and do within Moonfang Island, and that's definitely why this mod's featured here at a number 2 spot, so I'd strongly recommend downloading it and exploring this massive new DLC-sized area for yourself. Coming in at the number 1 spot this week, we have a mod that goes hand in hand with the number 1 spot from last week, so if you missed it, it was basically just a mod that changed every single armor in Skyrim to be a lot more medieval themed, and even changed the clothing too. Well, now we're moving on to the weapons. This is Vaultman 30's Weapon Replacer Addon. We're going to be using the low-res version because these mods always come in at huge sizes because it always changes pretty much every single weapon in Skyrim, and the high-res version ends up being a very large memory size, and we're always looking to save as much space as we can because on Xbox we have 5 gigabytes to work with, and we're going to need as many of those precious megabytes as possible. And like I said, this literally covers every single vanilla weapon that you can find throughout Skyrim with a more somewhat historic alternative. We're talking new assassin weapons, new axes, iron, silver, steel, ebony, the Dwemer weapons, the glass weapons, every single different type of category and vanilla weapon that you can find, even if it's a unique weapon in Skyrim, will have a brand new texture, and it kind of fits this medieval theme, and I really like it. Now, I know I've said this in a lot of my previous episodes, but I truly feel that this is probably the best time for modding Skyrim if you're just getting back into it. A lot of us take different hiatuses and don't touch Skyrim for a while, or maybe you're just getting into it now and you've just discovered the channel and you're looking for some brand new mods to install, which is awesome. I love hearing when people are finally getting back into the game after so long. It's always great to hear stuff like that. But this is truly the golden age of Skyrim modding on console because we're getting so many mod packs, so many bundles, and we're really just finding ways to get around this 150 mod cap by using these mod packs and bundles, and 5 gigabytes, although it may be low in space and it doesn't really seem like you can fit too many mods within 5 gigabytes, but you truly can. There's so much that you can do with these 5 gigabytes of space, and you can make any type of load order imaginable. I've been doing this for over 6 years now, and I'm still having a blast making these videos, and I thought I would only get to like episode 100 or something like this, but we're coming in episode 260, and I still have a blast every single week covering 5 mods every single week, and I always love every single mod that I cover. There's not a mod that I cover on here that, I'm not really into or I don't think I'd use. Every single mod that I pick throughout here, I truly think that I would use at some point in time. It's just a lot harder because, you know, making these videos every week, I have to go through a bunch of mods, but I truly feel that this is the actual golden age of Skyrim modding because these mods are absolutely incredible. So no matter what type of theme you're going for, whether you're trying to be silly and add a whole bunch of different, you know, silly mods, you can definitely do that. If you're trying to go for a medieval theme, you can get this mod as well as the #1 spot from last week and have a complete medieval load order where you have every single person, you know, dressed up in a bunch of medieval gear and it looks completely awesome and just has a different take on Skyrim. Or if you want to have different types of themes, any type of theme that you can possibly think of, it's possible to make in Skyrim even with this 5 GB limit. I know that I kind of went off on a little tangent there, but I'm just very passionate about modding for Skyrim and just seeing these mods as I've been doing this for such a long time and just seeing how they've grown and, you know, the mods that were getting ported over from Nexus or maybe the new mods that people just create on their own and just upload to the mod page here. But back to this mod at hand, Vaultman 30's Weapon Replacer Addon is a brilliant mod that changes every single weapon throughout Skyrim that you can find with a better alternative that's more medieval, and I absolutely love it. So if that's the theme that you're going for in your load order, or you're maybe just looking for a mod that completely covers all of the weapons all in one simple mod, then Vaultman 30's Weapon Replacer Addon is definitely the mod I'd recommend checking out. So go download it and use some of these brand new badass weapons for yourself. So that's pretty much it for this week's episode of the top 5 Skyrim mods of the week. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and if you did, I'd appreciate it if you left a like and subscribe if you're new. It really helps me out a lot. And if you have any suggestions for mods you'd like me to cover in future top 5 mod episodes, be sure to let me know in the comment section below, or you can follow me on Twitter. I'll be sure to leave my Twitter in the description, and you guys can follow me on there and leave me suggestions there as well. Special shout out to my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys so much for everything that you guys have done for me. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and I will talk to you guys later.